It's appropriate.
It's the morning. It's very bright in this room this morning. We've got the sun streaming in the windows. We have our sexy little new Starbucks cups that we got in New York.
Starbucks Reserve, really cool.
Like, check it out. Check it out.
Super sleek.
Starbucks Reserve Roastery with a big lipstick mark at the top.
Yeah, cool place, yeah, that place out in New York.
Absolutely awesome. So we are here with coffee, with sunlight, and we've had some like good deep discussions this morning, haven't we?
You certainly have, yeah. So this one here. So what is the title of this one? Is it?
Well, there's kind of two-prong attack with this one, isn't there?
Okay, well go for it, Steph. What are we talking about today?
Okay, well, we're talking about something that came to light through one of our new client calls. So we're taking on this person and something popped up in the conversation in our initial chats about conflicting information across Google, social media, other forms of, I suppose, content like magazines, etc., what people say, word of mouth, blah, blah, blah. And how to navigate through all of that and find the best approach and the best coach as well for you. And I think this particular person was like, I just don't know where to turn. There's so much overstimulation. One person's selling this, one person's selling that. This person seems genuine, this person doesn't. How do you distinguish between all of it? And how do you find the best method for you? So that was kind of, well, that's almost both of them in one,
So it was, how do you find the right information? And
through all of it,
how, like, what's credible, and then like how do you identify a coach that you can work with? Yeah,
absolutely. And it was an interesting conversation because we all know there's so much out there. I think everybody's been in that situation where they start to go down the rabbit hole with interest about one specific topic, or for example, if we just take finding a coach, for example, and then this person's got this coach and is getting the results with that coach, but is it down to the coach or is it down to the person's work ethic? This person's going with this other person because they may be taking a more scientific approach. This person's going with this person because they take more of a holistic well-being approach. There's so much out there, but what, like you say, what makes a credible coach? What also makes a good decision for you, not based on the back of who's popular at the moment or who's, the in thing. So I mean, I'm going off on a tangent already because there's so much in my mind about this topic.
I think, quite a good way to tackle this one is...
Because it's a big one.
As you talk about choosing the right coach, and then if you think about, okay, if you identify the right or the credible coach, that maybe also tackles the other question, which is, where do you get your information from?
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you can identify that in the first place, and then you can maybe get to the other thing in terms of information. Okay, I will put a little caveat though right at the start because I like caveats.
Andrew loves his caveats. Pretty much every one of our YouTube videos has a caveat.
It's in the world of sport and exercise science and sports nutrition, there are so many different approaches, and a large part of what we do is based on either gaining weight and losing weight or trying to build muscle or get a little bit fitter, and so many of these different approaches do tend to work and are not as well researched as you might believe that they would lead to be. There's always a study that shows this, and the opposing study will show this. That it does allow a lot of people to be credible. So having someone that sifts through all that for you and says, okay, well, that study did show that, but it's not necessarily applicable to you. So you really want to rely on this information, or this information plus my experience is really going to help you. That makes sense.
It does make sense, absolutely. I think as well, like what you've just said there, there's two things here. The first thing is, what kind of approach to your bodybuilding journey do you want? Do you want as we just said, a scientifically backed approach, somebody who has a lot of information on the more data and the researched sort of strategies towards bodybuilding? I suppose that's a bit of the approach we take. Do you want an approach which is just kind of, dare I say it, hardcore bodybuilding, which is like, eat your chicken and rice 5 meals a day, shut the fuck up and do what we say? Oh, look at that rhyme. That was well good. That was
You're like rapping.
No, I'm trademarking that. So there's that.
And some
approach.
people want that.
And some people want that. Some people want that.
It's like we just said in that last little bit. I mean, that'll work as well.
I'm still trying to get over how I'm quite proud of myself on that one. I'm going to say that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that approach, which is a more hardcore, like...
Are you wanting a more loose if it fits your macros?
Yeah,
sort of?
do you want that IIFYM as well? You know, we or the coach gives you a set of macronutrients to stick by that you have to do a lot more of your own calculations yourself using software like MyFitnessPal, etc. Is that the type of bodybuilding journey you want? Or do you want, are you perhaps somebody who needs quite a lot of support psychologically? Do you want more of a person-centered approach? So do you want a coach who's going to kind of give you a bit more support psychologically through the different stages of the bodybuilding journey? Particularly, this can appeal to first-timers, for example, or people who've never done this before, who really need to understand what's actually going on psychologically as they get leaner, because that's a huge part of it. So there's a lot of things that people should consider before they go down finding the best person for them. And then, can I just say one massive one that people kind of overlook? You need to like your coach.
Yeah, I mean that.
Right? You need to actually get on with it. There's no point in like choosing a coach because so-and-so's got this coach who's apparently brilliant and amazing. But then when you've had your initial consult call, you come off that call and you go, well, actually, like, they were a bit of a dick. What are you going to do to start paying this person for coaching when you actually don't really potentially maybe even like their character or persona before you even start?
Do you know what? I mean, some people you just don't have rapport with. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be a dick. Some people you're not going to get on with absolutely everyone, or maybe you're just not going to warm to absolutely everyone, but you're going to be spending a lot of time talking to this individual.
And you need to feel like you can ask them things.
Yeah, you need to be able to ask them questions. I mean, we've had discussions with clients and they've said, well, what should I do about this and what should I do about that? And I think you've always remarked, well, you're paying this person, you're entitled to
ask them as many questions as you want, and you should be met with clarity. Even if your coach or the person you're working with is quite, perhaps they're not as animated as we are, for example, but perhaps they're like,
we're not animated.
They're still very genuine, very pleasant, good to get along with. Maybe they give you feedback back in a more kind of flat way, but that doesn't mean that they're a bad person or anything else. You might get on with that, which is fine. But that person, that coach, should still be able to give you clarity to your questions and make you feel comfortable that your questions are okay to ask. If your coach at any point makes you feel uncomfortable or actually doesn't give you the response or a clear understanding of why you're doing when you ask a question, that to me suggests a lack of understanding for the client, and also a lack of knowledge and a lack of coaching skills, because there's a lot more to being a coach than just providing training and dieting and everything else. A coach has got a lot more responsibility for the individual that you're working with, to provide them, an open space to discuss and have a dialogue about what's going on.
Sure, because that's coaching.
That's good coaching. That's good coaching, though.
So, I mean, we've kind of started this already. So how do you identify a coach? So first and foremost, I mean, this is a really good one. You have to like the person you're going to be working with.
Or respect them.
Or respect them, Now, you can't be in such a way, have a relationship where the coach is going to be a pushover, because the coach needs to be firm as well and push back sometimes and say, I'm sorry, but we actually need to push forward a little bit harder here and lose a bit of weight. And there's got to be some boundaries there, but you have to like the person you're going to work with. And there's no point suffering, as Stephanie says here, if you don't like this individual just because they've been recommended. There's a lot of people out there that you can find that will be able to provide similar services, and you might have a better rapport with. And dare I say, you might be able to have a friendship with thereafter.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, it's like, the coach's job as well for the individual is to provide them the information and the knowledge, so that eventually, if they're a good coach, the client will be able to go on and do these things themselves, and the coach will know when that person's got enough from them to be able to go on and do those sorts
you like
of
to talk
things
about this. You like to talk about shelf life, don't you? That everyone's maybe got a little bit of a shelf life in terms of how long you're going to work with an individual.
Yeah, I mean, I think shelf life's probably a bit of a
negative
a bit harsh connotation, but I think and coaches out there, please comment below, but if you're doing your job really well, a client shouldn't need you for life. A client should gain as much as they can from that experience with you, and when they're maybe ready to take it alone, or maybe they're ready and choosing new goals and they want a fresh approach, they'll find that at some point. But certainly they know that if you build a good relationship with your coach, you're always going to be there, whether it's during the coaching or whether it's after. You know, I've still got clients that I don't coach anymore that still tap in with me and say, look, Seth, look how I'm doing. You know, I keep in contact with them. I meet up with some of mine. I'm going to shout one out, Lewis down in Leeds. One of my ex-coaching clients, absolutely brilliant. We worked together for ages, built his foundation, and we have a great relationship ongoing. Your coaching doesn't need to stop when it stops, is what I'm saying. And if you're a good coach, you'll have that for life.
Sure. Anyway, so we'll move on from here. So we're like your coach.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like your coach.
What approach do you want? Yeah, well, we've mentioned this already. Do you want to be scientific? Do you want to be hardcore? It should suit you. If you want a particular type of approach and you're going to meet a coach and they don't give off the certain vibe that meets with what your expectations are, then it maybe doesn't make sense to choose that coach.
Yeah, I mean, what type? If you were to kind of conclude our coaching, why you would come to us for coaching? What specific, I suppose, what's our USP, our unique selling point?
Well, I would say off the back of that we are experienced in the field in which we participate in. So bodybuilding coaching, strongman coaching, and powerlifting coaching, that we've got the t-shirt, if you like. We've been there, we've done that at that sort of level, but we're also extremely qualified as well. I mean, I'm a BSc in sport and exercise science, a master's in human nutrition, and a PhD in human nutrition.
Yeah.
To say that, and I research these areas as well at the same sort of time. So not only do I understand the fundamentals in terms of the abstract side of things, in terms of the theory, but also the practical implications of implementing these theory-based plans. And I think we don't overcomplicate things.
No, we keep things quite straightforward and simple.
People want sometimes an over analytical approach, and they want to know about exact amounts of how this is going to affect their insulin levels, or how something's going to affect particular hormonal levels, or things like this, or programs which are going to influence heat shock proteins and stuff like that. And we don't talk like that because it's overcomplicating things, and a lot of the time that these things don't really make a difference. So yes, we're science based, but we're not at the detriment of what is practical and what is obviously effective.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you learn by doing. You know, in terms of both of us together, we've got 20 plus years across the bodybuilding industry. We have expertise in both female and male, getting males ready for these shows. So together, you know, we've got a pretty diverse approach to how the bodies respond. From a perspective of training and exercise, our qualifications behind that, we've tried and tested so many different ways of actually tackling the bodybuilding training styles, I guess. Everybody has something different that they need to kind of follow. So it's really important that you have had a lot of this expertise and experience before, so that you can apply a lot of your own learning from mistakes and making sure that your clients don't go down those mistakes perhaps that you have, or giving them an understanding of why maybe certain things aren't working.
So our approach is based in science and practical experience. And I think a thing that is often forgotten about, and it, probably for my formal qualifications, is just because of the nature of the person that you are. I always say this to my clients, but we take a person first approach. So you are a person first to us, and then an athlete second. So that means that we care about your well-being and how this journey, whatever it is that you're doing, is going to affect your health. And we're not willing to often compromise your health. That means physically, but also psychologically, for the sake of a goal sometimes. So, I mean, that's just an approach, whereas other people might be prepared to do more nefarious things and do things at the well-being of their client. And just for the sake of that goal, I don't think it's always worth it. So aftercare is something I think we really
focus on a lot.
Really focus on.
You've got to remember as well that as a coach, I say this often, you're not just taking on the goal of the person. The person comes to you and says, this is my goal. When you enlist a client, when we start working with a client, you're effectively taking every element of their life and their lifestyle and their patterns and their behaviors on board. And if you're not constantly checking up on that process, you have an ethical, in my opinion,
absolutely,
we have an ethical responsibility because we're telling them what to eat. We're telling them what to do in the gym and how to move their body. We're telling them to monitor their weight. We're telling them to sit down and use accountability forms to see how their psychological aspects are.
We're asking them how they feel.
We're asking them how they feel. We're asking them about their health. We're asking them about their injuries. We're asking them about their hormones. You know,
you're
we're
talking
literally
about their
picking
family
a person
life,
up and taking all of their personal information, literally from the floor up, if you like, inside and out. And ethically, we have a duty of care and responsibility to the client, to the person, because they are a person, they're a human, and you know, they're just like us, I guess. But this is my issue with a lot of coaches in the industry, that they don't take an ethical standpoint, and potentially can suggest some very dangerous psychological patterns and habits, and also, like, you know, just getting an individual to stick on the same food for a whole year, then coming off diet, for example, and then telling them to eat more of the same food continuously with no structure. That kind of thing is
it's lazy for a start.
It's lazy, but it's also harmful to a person's behaviours around foods. So there's a lot of things that
100%.
we could go into there, but we'll keep on point.
100%. So
what about the next question here?
So are they qualified? Yes. Are they qualified to actually do this? I mean, I sort of thought about this in terms of, I had a list of things. Well, what do people do to choose a coach? And I was thinking, well, they probably get referred, or there's an endorsement. They see someone's results. They do an internet search, or they find something on social media. And beyond that, I think a lot of the time people don't really look past that.
No, they don't really go.
They don't really go past that. But if you sat down and you looked at people's qualifications in this industry, and Noura Alwan, who's done a great paper on physiological and psychological effects of bodybuilding on female athletes, has reported on this a couple of times, and that we're talking less than 10% of bodybuilders and athletes actually work with someone who's a registered nutritionist or dietitian. And then we've got papers that are published that show that actually the vast majority of people that are getting ready for competitions are not following evidence-based approaches. So, like, even just basic things like making sure that the client has enough vitamin A in their diet or enough calcium to meet their requirements, so they don't lose bone mineral density when they're getting ready for a competition, or getting their 5 a day. So the vast majority of people are not qualified to do this. And I'm not talking being able to prescribe resistance training in a gym. That's a different qualification, but largely from the nutritional standpoint. And qualifications, they matter.
Hugely matter.
They matter. So, for example, to do what I do, I'm a registered nutritionist, which means that you can look me up on the AFN's website, Association for Nutrition. You can find me along with all the other registered nutritionists, and you see that I've got formal qualifications. There are other registers as well, so you could be the BDA, which is the British Dietetics Association. You could be a dietitian, or you could be a member of the Sport and Exercise Nutrition Register. There's also a number of other courses which are offered as CPD around the UK, so you can get Stronger by Science, the ACA, which is the Advanced Coaching Academy.
And you should be able to find your trainers, your personal trainers.
And
all of us are on there.
You can find these things. Now, being a registered nutritionist, the AFN have tried to see if they can get this term chartered, so I could be a chartered nutritionist, and it gives a little bit of extra realm of protection, because if anyone knows anything about protected terms, they'll know that nutritionist is not a protected term. But all these qualifications, what they do is they ensure that your trainer has got a minimum level of qualification. I'm not saying that everyone that does a degree comes out and they're exactly the same in terms of their knowledge, but they've passed a certain sort of criteria endorsed by these various bodies. And a lot of the time that will cover scientific understanding around the area. It will cover the aspects and the demands of sports application for nutrition, but there's also other things like the ethical considerations. I've got a professional code of conduct which I have to adhere to, which means that I have to take that person-centered approach first, and I have to make sure that I don't recommend things which are dangerous and in principle for people. So there's just a lot of people just don't have those basic formal qualifications.
We often talk about this as something across the fitness and the bodybuilding industry. There is no, at the moment, official board or I suppose, accreditation that you need to provide to show that you're an accredited coach. So it's up to the individual, the client, to go and do their own research to find out who is, legit, who's actually going to talk the talk, walk the walk, and actually back it up with the qualifications that they've got. I think for just on another note on this, posing coaching, how that's just actually sort of exploded in the last few years in the bodybuilding industry, and rightly so, because it's a huge part.
It's massive.
But
huge.
I often go on about this on my Instagram because I am a posing coach and I hold myself really highly as a national posing coach. And I do that because I have professional qualifications in dance and choreography, and I know how to manipulate the body into being able to stand in poses that are very foreign to somebody who's just walking down the street. Now, bodybuilding is a form of artistic choreography.
100%.
And with the amount I have done in terms of professional qualifications, my own professional movement and dance background, my own choreography, literally I have been working with people and professionals in this field, in that side of things, for 15 plus years. And so I can firmly stand here and say that I know how to coach properly, posing coaching. Is there an accreditation to tell me that I'm officially that? If there was, I'd be jumping on that in half a second to show the world that this is my profession. But it's something to note as well when you're going down the route of any other coaching as part of this bodybuilding journey. Research the person, look at what they do. You can go on my Instagram right now and see how many people I work with in terms of professional posing coaching across the UK. It's my passion, I love it. It's absolutely paramount to the process of bodybuilding, and as it's exploded, like prep coaches have, like everything else, do your research on that as well. So that's what I'm going to put in there.
It's an interesting point, isn't it? Because we know that, like, from a sport like football or badminton or anything like that, you have to go and get your badges. Just like if you want to be a personal trainer, you have to be accredited to work with a team.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And a large part of that as well is like you've got to fill in forms and get yourself a PVG, which means that you can work with vulnerable individuals and things like this, and you've got a code of practice and everything like that to adhere to. And yes, it's a shame we don't have anything like that in the UK. And if we were to have that for bodybuilding coaching, I think what we would need is we would need the endorsement of people like the AFN, the SENR, the CISSN, which is the Journal International Society of Sports Nutrition.
Well, there would almost be like an exam body, wouldn't there? Like,
yeah,
that you'd go through some exams and
be,
qualifications to prove or to ensure that you are above board and practicing ethically.
Yeah, and at the same time, there would have to be sort of continuous personal development.
Absolutely.
To make sure that you're held up of a standard. Just like these other sort of qualifications, and just like, I know people like to slag off reps, but at least reps
and CPD,
ensures that your fitness instructor or personal trainer has got to a minimum standard of training.
And if they are a good trainer, they should be continuing.
They'll go on and
they'll continue
improve,
to add to their reps. They'll continue their CPD. They'll continue practicing, and they'll learn from people around them who are actually current. Can I just say that as well? It's really important. We're not bodybuilding in the early 90s anymore, or the late 80s anymore.
Yeah, things have moved on.
There's loads of interesting information we can take from those times, but things have moved on, and there's a hell of a lot more information and practices and ways of bodybuilding, the journey to bodybuilding that have moved with knowledge, we have moved with learning, and it's important to note that as well.
We're in 2020 now, and I think we're at a point now whereby people are expecting, in this day and age, formally qualified, accredited individuals, and unfortunately we don't have anything like that, is what I'd say. So yeah, you choosing your coach, you need to like them.
You need to know whether they're qualified, obviously.
Know whether they're qualified.
And do they do the approach that you're looking to get from your bodybuilding journey? Or if you like this particular coach, ask them what approaches they use and see if that's something you're interested in. A couple of other bits and pieces that we wrote down here. Can they evidence results? And do they evidence the results with themselves? Do they walk the walk as well as talk the talk? We often hear that, bodybuilders sometimes don't make great coaches. I agree with that statement.
Because it's a different set of skills.
In many cases. I also agree that there are some bodybuilders who absolutely know what they're talking about. And can evidence results quite clearly with themselves and with all of their clients. So that's another thing you need to be looking at is, can they evidence, you know, and back up with what they're saying they can do? Are clients getting into shape? Are they getting into shape? What's the next one here?
Are they taking a cookie cutter approach?
Oh yeah.
Like, or are they making
so
bespoke plans? Are you liable to get an A4 sheet of paper which has got 7 meals of potato and chicken on it, badly formatted, and it's there you go, everyone gets the same plan? Or are they actually taking the time to look at what your current habits are just now and design something individualized which works for you, i.e. works around your patterns? I mean, I was speaking to one of our clients the other day there who told me about their previous coach they're working with, and he said that, yeah, I ate sweet potato and turkey mince for 8 weeks and I got myself in shape, but it was horrible because I hated sweet potato and turkey mince. And I was like, why the hell did you follow that plan then? And why did you not change it? He's like, well, that's what the coach told me to do.
And
I mean, that's poor.
Yeah, really, really poor. And actually, that same client turned around and said, I've been watching what you do on Instagram and I've been reading your articles on the website. And one of the things that drew me to you was all your clients have got variety in their diet.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a pretty big penny drop moment for me, because this person was looking at the foods our clients were eating and us ourselves eating in the off season and during competition prep, and thinking, well, if it's doable on this variety, why have I been literally eating the same 3 items of food for the last God knows how long?
And I'm going to put that out there, by the way, that's a shit diet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
it's a poor diet.
It's a poor understanding of nutrition, full stop.
Yeah, but we'll
yeah,
move on
we'll
to
go
that.
into that.
So yeah,
But,
are they making cookie cutters, or is it bespoke around what works for you?
Yeah, and you coaches, back me up here. How many of you, right, have been sent the diet from previous coaches and then had another client send the same diet from the same coach previously? Back me up, please, because we have seen the same diet being sent through numerous times, and I rest my case on that.
What was the good one we got told from a client who was getting their diet from someone else and it still had the name of the previous client on it? That was quite good.
Oh yeah,
that
brilliant.
was quite funny, yeah.
Brilliant.
Anyway, so
we've got many stories. If you want to pick our brains, drop us a comment. So I'm going on to rant mode now.
Oh yeah, we are.
Anyway, on to the next bit.
I mean, sometimes you pay a lot of money for these services as well, and if somebody sent me a text message of this is your diet, and it was just that, not formatted,
nothing in it,
just a long listing ramble and said there's your plan after that, and I'd spent, I don't know, £250 or something on that, and there was no digital check-in service, there was no diaries, there wasn't any
no
support in place.
breakdown of the macronutrients, there was no understanding of why you're eating those particular foods.
Not even a website.
Like, yeah,
like,
I mean, these kinds of things are a concern.
Look at it and I think, well, again, it's 2020. You're paying a lot of money. You expect at least a letterhead on the document that you're being sent.
Yeah, I mean...
That might be me being snobbish, I don't know.
No, I don't think it is at all. I think in this day and age, we expect a level of professionalism and also a level of service for what you're paying for.
Yeah.
You know, like, do you think an Olympian athlete would pay a coach and then be given an A4 piece of paper with their diet written out and said, go and do a few sprints?
Yeah, no, it just wouldn't happen.
On this day and this day. Do you think they're going to put up with that? No.
They're looking at a 12 month cycle with a 4-year plan in place.
Exactly.
With blocked meso cycles along the way, and how the nutrition plan undulates alongside that, and everything's taken care of with their competitions. That's what they're paying for.
That's what you're paying for, and you're paying for the coach as well to have a long-term plan for you, not just a short-term plan.
Yeah.
You know, we've had clients, some clients get frustrated at points, you know, in the early stages as well, be like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Or I'm not seeing changes. Because there's a reason, there's time scales put in place, and we need to discuss these things as we go along. And again, like, the right people will work with you and they'll stay with you. If you're a good coach, they'll work with you and they'll stay with you long term. And so I think we've laboured that point. But remember, when you get given your planning or when you speak to your coach initially, get the sense that you're going to get a professional service, because your money needs, you know, you need to get value for your money. That's what I'm saying.
That's a good point.
Yeah, again, we wrote points here on 12-week transformations, or do you want a 12-week transformation program, or do you want sustainability? Do you want an approach to your life that's going to change your patterns, not just for something like a bodybuilding journey, but also post that, embedding really great like habits that you can take on and actually feel happy and healthy in a good lean
if
body.
you just want a 12-week transformation, then by all means, yeah, sure, go with that. But again, you have to sort of think in terms of, is this coach just doing a 12-week transformation for me, or are they giving me something that I can do sustainably? Because as we've said before in other videos, we don't look ripped to shreds all year round.
No, I mean,
because it's not sustainable. Yeah, Steph's got some gains.
I don't know, I've still got a bit of bicep. Where's yours?
It's a bigger arm.
Andrew woke up this morning, right, and went to the mirror and he was like, shit, I'm fat. And I was like, not yet, I'll tell you when you are fat though.
I'll tell you when you're
We're
fat.
holding each other accountable on the fat gains.
Okay. I think we've covered most of the things that we're being silly, and we've gone a bit rantish here. But
it needs to be said, though. These
said,
things need to be said. You know, like, we are so flipping passionate about good coaching, and the reason Pro Prep came to light was because of our enthusiasm for wanting to share our knowledge and our advice.
Yeah.
But not just that, we know we're both great coaches. You know, I've been doing this for years. Andrew's been doing this for years. We have a very succinct and linear understanding of what we think the bodybuilding and the fitness industry needs, and they need a lot more coaches with legit qualifications
and with the well-being of the athlete in
absolutely mind. And that clients can get on with. Coaching's not just about that, it's about building a great relationship and really enjoying the process as well. So
yeah.
Did you want to mention a point on working with different types of athletes?
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about that. So is your coach assisted themselves? Do they work largely with assisted athletes, or are they natural working with assisted athletes, or are they natural working largely with natural athletes? I've talked about this before, and I've said the results that you get from taking assistance are so profound that in studies they show that you can do no exercise, literally sit on this couch here, and you can build more muscle mass and strength than people that do a 12-week program.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's how powerful these things are, which means that you can get away with nutritional programming and training programming which are substandard and still get fantastic results, provided the drug protocol's okay. Now, I'm not saying that people that are assisted coaches and work with assisted athletes are always providing substandard programming, but not every personal trainer, coach, etc. is created equal. So it's an understanding that taking one approach with your natural athlete compared to your approach with your assisted athlete,
it's going to be very different.
It's going to be different in terms of what you can actually provide and what you can get away with. And I guess the best example of someone that is a good coach is someone that gets results with people that are assisted and people that are non-assisted, because that would kind of prove to me that they actually know what they're doing, because they're working with non-assisted people, they're getting great results, and then obviously they're not relying on the assistance as a crutch. It's actually just assistance to make their athletes even more muscular or more ripped. They're not relying on the drug protocols.
Yeah,
and probably not taking extreme risks as well at the same time.
Yeah.
If after the fact. So just a really important point. Is that anything you want to say on that?
No, I think again it shows the well-roundedness of the knowledge of the coach. I think as well, you know, it's a very important point to make that bodybuilding, this is a thing in bodybuilding. It's been there since time immemorial. It's something
It'll always be there, yeah.
It will always be there, but it also should be something that you should gain knowledge in, not hide away from or be scared to talk about, because a lot of natural competitors as well are natural coaches. You know, they're kind of scared to talk about that side of things, but let's be honest, you know, there's a lot of clients that come to us that are assisted competitors, and we're quite confident in our ability to speak to these people, because that's the nature of good coaching. Again, it's having a very balanced approach to all areas of your field, which is bodybuilding. So you've got to be intelligent around that.
An important point about, I guess, on that, the last thing, is your assisted coach that you're working with that's offering assistance, are they simply just a drug dealer? Because I'm
ask that question.
Because I've seen this. I mean, I've been around this industry for a long time. I know guys that, well, are drug dealers from just because they just provide steroids to their clients. They're just saying, no, you need more and more and more of this. I mean...
Yeah, and I mean, let's not even go into the ethical
I
side
know,
of that,
I mean...
because that's just danger, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they're not definitely looking after your well-being there. Right, so just now we're going to summarise. So, do you like your coach? Are they assisted? Are they non-assisted? Can they evidence their results? Are they professional? And are they qualified? And if they can tick all those boxes for you...
Do they have guns like us?
Do they have guns like us?
I'm joking.
If they can tick all those boxes for you, then again, yeah, maybe that coach is right for you.
Yeah, and just on a side note, guys, like we're putting this video out there because this has been a topic of discussion for us. And when we have like these kind of light bulb moments and things we want to share, we just get on the video and just go for it. And so this is where we're at with this one. But please note, this isn't for us to say that we're better than anybody else. You know, we're two people in the fitness industry with a coaching service, with a company that we're very proud of and we get results with. And we wouldn't be running this unless that was our main goal. So whilst we're gonna say to you, go and have a wee look at the ProPrep website, drop us a comment below if you're interested in coaching. This video is not specifically for that. It's for our open views on how to choose the right approach and how to navigate through a lot of the information that's oversaturating us to find the right coach for you.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So check out the website, www.propepcoaching.com. Check out the Facebook page, ProPrep Coaching, Instagram, ProPrep Coaching, and also check out both of us, our own socials.
Fueled by Scott's Oats.
Steph Noble Figure Pro.
That was a test. That was a test.
Just worked.
That was a
also check out our great sponsors as well. We're sponsored by, Steph's sponsored by Ear Hugs.
Ear Hugs. So guys, Ear Hugs, they're absolutely amazing. We're about to go down and do a wee photo shoot with them. Cannot wait.
Can I come?
Yeah, why not? Just
Cool.
jump down. So Ear Hugs, if any of you got overhead earphones and want a little Christmas present or something fun to get people or yourself because they're awesome, please use my discount code Steph with a capital S, Noble with a capital N, 10.
Yeah.
10.
10%.
And then Bodytronics. If you are wanting, now Bodytronics are absolutely awesome, natural competitors, all good to go, every product. So go check out their website, bodytronics.com, and you can use the discount code STEPH15 for 15% off. And they're, wicked. I can recommend two products, Intracell, Insane, and their Diet Whey. They mix all their products with Haagen-Dazs flavors, so they're legit. So please go check them out.
Haagen-Dazs flavors.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
Also check out Chemical Warfare. I'm now working with these guys.
Yes.
Put in discount code Dr.Andrew20 and you get a 20% discount off of all Chemical Warfare products. Check out EAA9, Essential Amino Acid Complex 9. I think it's a really great product and you get a 20% discount, as I say, off all their products. All right. ProPrep signing out. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you.